What's up, fam? I'm really excited to talk in this video about the reason why 96% of online business owners fail and how you can guarantee that you'll win. So you're a part of the 4% that actually succeed so that you can build the type of 50K a month freedom business that most people can only ever dream of. Now, I will admit that this particular piece of content probably fits into the category of not what you want to hear right now, but probably what you do most need to hear. This is something that I have each and every one of my clients watch within the first week of starting with us. And I honestly believe that this particular belief system and concept is the reason why most business owners shut their doors within the first 2 years. And the understanding of this, once you can work through it, is the reason why a select few can grow their business to 50 to 100K a month. So if you've been experiencing any challenges or setbacks or wondering why stuff is getting in your way and how to navigate through it so you can guarantee you'll win. If you understand this well, I guarantee this will allow you to succeed at any endeavor for the rest of your life, personally and professionally, period. So the reason why I wanted to teach this to you is because recently I come across a random keynote speech by Alex Hormozi on YouTube, and he was talking about the 5 stages of success. And as he started to teach this concept, what I realized was that what he was teaching was something that I had taught to me by one of my mentors who helped me when I first started my very first coaching business. And he just taught me the concept in a slightly different way. And so basically, when I first started, my coach had a conversation with me and he said, "Hey, Owen, how serious are you about building your business?" And I said, "I'm super serious. I'm ready to go. I'm all in." And he said, "Okay, cool. Well, let me ask you this. How long are you willing to do the business if you're making no revenue? How long are you willing to do it before you would actually give up?" And I said, "That's an interesting question." I'm like, "I'm willing to do whatever it takes." And he said, "Well, that's a great answer. That's what most people say, but that's not usually what happens with most people." He said, "Usually when people first start it and they start something new, they get really freaking excited because they're excited about the vision that they have for their business. But then once they get started, they realize that there's a heck of a lot more work in it than they initially realized, and they start to face some challenges and setbacks. And usually what happens with people is that then starts to cause a bit of self-doubt and, worry that they're not going to be able to succeed. And then if they're not able to overcome those challenges quickly, what people usually do is they kind of hit a stage of burnout and they either stop their business altogether or they just ultimately quit. And that's why I believe most people kind of give up within the first 2 years." And he said, "So if you don't want to be a part of the 96% of people that fail, what you have to do instead is you need to be willing to do this for the next 30 years, if that's what it takes." Meaning that if you didn't make any money for the next 30 years, that you are actually just willing to do this for as long as it takes for you to make it work. And he said, it's likely that it's not going to take you 30 years, but you need to have the mentality and the mindset that you're willing to do it for however long it takes and to do whatever it takes to succeed. Because if you can do that, then you will not be denied. You will succeed, period. It's impossible not to. And he shared that with me, and it really hit me, and it really allowed me to just ground in where I was at and helped me make a new level of commitment, not from a place of hype, but a grounded level of commitment, knowing that, this is going to be hard and challenging, but I'm freaking all in, whatever it takes, let's go. And so what I didn't realize, what he was sharing with me was the stages of success that Hormozi was teaching. And so here's a screenshot from his keynote, and I just want to break this down with you. And as I do, you'll probably notice that you are either in one of these stages now, you've been through it, or if you haven't been through it, you're about to go through it. And if you can understand this well, I guarantee you'll be able to use this to succeed in any venture in your personal or professional life for the rest of your life, period. So here's how it works. When you first start a new business, a new venture, or start utilizing a new strategy with a coach, for example, stage number 1 is that you experience uninformed optimism. Like we shared before, you get started, you're incredibly excited, you're focused on your vision, you're pumped. But then what happens very quickly is that you go to stage number 2, which is informed pessimism. So all of a sudden you realize there's a heck of a lot more work involved. There's challenges, setbacks. It's not just going to be easy. So with that information, you start to experience a little bit of pessimism and self-doubt. Sometimes then that quickly allows you to move on to stage number 3, which is a crisis of meaning. This is when you start to question whether or not you're in the right business, working with the right coach, utilizing the right strategy, whether you have what it takes. You start comparing yourself to everyone else. And it's a really sucky place to be in, to put it nicely. And if you've been there or you are there, you'll know exactly what I mean. Now, here's what most people do. What most people do when they experience this crisis of meaning is they do one of two things. I'll tell you about the second in a second. The first thing they do is they go and start something new. So, for example, let's say you hired a coach and you're starting to build your business organically, and all of a sudden you get to that crisis of meaning and you're like, oh, I should do paid ads. And so they go over to learn paid ads and they get super excited because they think they've seen other people doing ads and they think that it's going to be this golden nugget. It's going to help them break through. So they get super excited. They experience that uninformed optimism. Then very quickly, again, just like with building their business organically, they get to informed pessimism. They go, holy shit, this is actually pretty challenging as well. I've got to test my ads. I've got to test my creatives. And then when I'm starting to get leads, they're nowhere near as warm as they were with organic. And then the sales are harder. And like, this sucks. And then they end up in another place where it's not working. And they again experience a crisis of meaning. And then what happens? They do the same freaking thing. They go and start something new. They decide to start a Facebook group and they think that that's awesome. This is called shiny object syndrome, by the way, guys. Start something new, get excited, informed pessimism, crisis of meaning. And this basically begins to happen over and over and over again. They start something new. They get to about here. They might be close to a breakthrough, but then they start something new. They get to here. They start something new. They get to here. And one of two things happens. They either do that for their entire career, or they eventually get to the point and they go, wow, I actually don't think I have what it takes. They experience crash and burn, and then they experience the ultimate failure, which is they freaking quit. And this is why 96% of online business owners fail. So here's the thing. If that's what causes most people to fail, then what's the solution? What's the alternative? It's really simple. What you need to realize that crisis of meaning just means that you've likely it's likely that you are a seed that's been planted in fertile soil. And while it might feel like you're being surrounded in darkness and that everything's falling down around you, what you need to remind yourself of is that oftentimes things are actually falling down right into place. So when you're struggling and you're trying to find a solution and things aren't working, usually it's a call for you to develop your skill set or for you to show up in a different way. And oftentimes then what happens is that you might make a slight change to the way that you're conducting a sales call. Then all of a sudden, boom, you start to drop sales. Or you make a slight adjustment to the way that you're creating content and leads start to come through. Or you make a new hire. And then all of a sudden, boom, it pops and you break through to that next level and things start to work and you feel like an absolute powerhouse. And then what that does is that allows you to arrive at stage number 5, which is informed optimism. And you realize that through your experience, if you're just able to develop your skill set a little bit, or maybe it's reaching out and asking for help, that you can actually move through those challenges. And that what those challenges do is they allow you to grow. And then that growth then allows you to serve your clients and the people around you even more, so that crisis of meaning and that down patch in your business has actually allowed you to become a better business owner, a better leader, and to help your clients ultimately longer term. And so you break through it and you use those lessons as blessings to serve the people that you can help as you've broken through it. And then that allows you to go to stage number 6, which is ultimately you achieve the end result that you set out to. And then what happens? You repeat. And we go through this cycle in almost everything that we do, both personally and professionally, right? Start something new, realize, shit, there's work to do here. We go through times of growth and darkness, and that growth and darkness allows us to grow. And if you don't freaking start something new or you don't quit, let me ask you this. Is it possible to fail if you do not give up or if you do not quit? The answer to that's really obvious, okay? So here's my message in this as I close this up. Don't be a part of the 96% of people that take that struggle as a sign that they're not good enough or worthy or they don't have what it takes. Don't quit. Don't start something new. Stick it out, follow it through, and if you can do that, it is impossible to fail. So I hope this video has served you heaps. If it has, drop a comment below. If you have a friend, a family member, a colleague, or someone in your community that you feel needs, as I said, this is a message that you need to hear, maybe not what you wanted to hear, then go ahead and tag them below and let me know what you loved the most. And I'll see you on the next video soon.